Hello. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It's way less climatic than when I had Jim Friend on the show. I know I'm way less interesting than just Jim Friend, so um, I'll try to make it interesting. So So coming off my biggest show ever. Wow, so crazy. 60 people at the same time watching me. Wow, amazing. The power of the Jim Friend, right? It was pretty funny to one be in his presence. What an honor. A true scholar and a gentleman if I've ever seen one. But like him, kind of. So Jim Friend, he like is in blockchain technically. Like he did a presentation at a like at a blockchain conference once, but he didn't have a crypto wallet on his phone. And this guy is like 62, I think it is. And so, I mean, essentially, we should make Bitcoin so easy our grandma and grandpas can use it. And I don't want to call Jim Friend a grandpa because he's like way cooler than grandpas, right? But he couldn't download a wallet live, and I mean, his problem was he didn't have his login to the App Store, and I mean, this is just like another step that we have to like almost overcome to get to the point where we do onboard everybody, right? And I don't even know if you can. So he had an iPhone. I know on Android you can just like download a wallet with the. Holy shit, that was loud. Sorry about that. That hurt my ears too. So, sorry, I had that slider up way too high. That's a D Live thing, by the way. Thanks, Star Time. But yeah, so I know on Android you can download a .apk file, which is just like a wallet file directly, but I don't think you could do that on an iPhone. But yeah, he did. So I basically just had a wallet on my, and basically just had a wallet on my phone or on my computer, and then had people donate, and then I was like, hey, I'll just send it to you after the show, and then he's like, nah, just give it to charity. Like, all right, a true Jim Friend move if I've ever seen one. So. Yeah, really cool. He had some great gym tips, but that's a great little song. So it was really cool to be with him on the show. No, I guess him and Lena never did really have a relationship, which I think we kind of all assumed, but that's not really the point. And the point is, be a man, be a man, just be a man. And so let's get into it, shall we? And so one of the co-founders of Blockstream, who does no longer work at Blockstream, Matt Corallo, even though he's got the blue hair of the Blockstream blue, so Blockstream announced the Liquid network payments are now integrated on BTC Pay server, and so BTC Pay is essentially a BitPay clone but open source, and the Bitcoin maximalists are always like, hey, don't use BitPay, use BTC Pay, right? And so thanks for the ice creams, bro. And this is what they recommend. And so, of course, it's only natural for Blockstream to say, hey, we're going to partner with them. And so now you can do quick and confidential LBTC. Jesus. Yes, he's sending me ice creams and lemons, which are Alino, which is on DLive, which is now on like Tron or something. It's now on Tron. The DLive network is now on Tron. So I don't know how that works, but it works apparently. But yeah, so you have LBTC, which is confidential, and so with Liquid, you can see the total supply of the token, but you can't see like how much people are sending each other. And so Liquid is a federated sidechain, and federated means I think there's like 20 different exchanges that kind of control the network, are essentially proof of stakers, but without like actually staking anything, just like having a node that controls it. And so now you can use Liquid, Bitcoin, and Tether, which is on Liquid, to BTC Pay. So you never really have to use Bitcoin at all. You use this other thing on a side chain, which they call Bitcoin with an L in front of it, or US dollars with a T in the back of it. So all on XRP. Yeah, definitely all on XRP. That's a great idea. I always count on you to send over the donation, Tao. I appreciate it every time. But yeah, anyways, Matt Corallo says, don't use this. The trust model is horrid for end users, and Lightning Network and BTC Pay server is better anyway. If you want to move money between exchanges that support it, use Liquid. If anyone tells you to use it for anything else, treat them like they're trying to steal your Bitcoin. And so, yeah, Liquid, like I said, it's the Federation is comprised of exchanges. And so if you want to send liquid from one exchange to another, yeah, I guess it's a good idea because, I mean, you're kind of trusting them anyways to send money to each other. But if you want to use it for anything else, like BTC Pay server, apparently the co-founder of Blockstream, who no longer works there, says, don't do that. So, one other thing that was introduced, this was introduced today. It's a bill for the House of Representatives, and it is to exclude gross income gained from the disposition of virtual currency in a personal transaction. So basically, everybody's always like, well, why would you use Bitcoin in retail and everyday transactions? You have to pay your capital gains on it. And so this was just introduced, and they're like, hey, let's not have that be a thing. That's stupid. And so really cool. I believe the limit is $200 transactions and lower. So really cool. They're transitioning to Tron. I don't think they have either. But yeah, now Justin's like pumping D Live and stuff. So I mean, I guess it's cool. I mean, it's Tron. So I don't know what to say. Here, let me get on YouTube. Which is what you download from the App Store. Oh, it's just a wallet. You can download .ipa files. Yeah, okay. But yeah, anyways, so this is the act may be cited as the Virtual Currency Tax Fairness Act of 2020. And so it will be gross income of an individual shall not include gain by reason of changes in exchange rates from the disposition of virtual currency in a personal transaction. The preceding sentence shall not apply if the gain would otherwise be recognized on the transaction exceeds $200. Shall not apply if the gain... Oh, I think I read that wrong. Would be recognized on the transaction. I think it's like if the gains are less than $200, if I read that correctly. When I first saw it, I thought it was a transaction is less than $200, but it looks like the gain is less than $200. Who here is watching without pants in 2020? You'll never know. You'll never know if I have pants on. And so, yeah, it looks like it's just the gains of $200. So, the preceding sentence shall not apply if the gain which would otherwise be recognized on the transaction exceeds $200. So, then, yeah, there you go. So, yeah, it's the gain of $200. It's not the actual transaction. So, I learned something when you reread stuff. For purposes of this section, the term virtual currency means a digital representation of value, yada, yada, yada. And so, yeah. That's it. So really cool. I just introduced today, so hopefully that goes through. Some other things that were in my description. So Akon, he's like starting a city. In question, are you high and wanted to make a live? I'm not high right now, but thank you for the question. Singers, crypto, Akon City in Senegal, and so he's creating a city with like $20 billion. I think he's getting grants. And I'm not sure exactly like why. I think he's just like trying to reach the poor in Africa. But he's creating a virtual currency and they're calling it Akon. So very cool. Very good wordplay. So that's kind of you have so much blue light coming into your eyes. Buy some glasses. I have a little tint on my monitor. You can't see it. So thank you. Thank you for your concern though. I appreciate it. And so some other things, two major crypto exchanges responsible for more than half of the illicit 2.8 billion BTC. And so there's this like weird argument in Bitcoin. I don't know if it's like really even an argument, but it's like, oh, criminals can use Bitcoin because it's a private currency, yada, yada, yada. But apparently I was trying to see like how they figured out it was illicit, maybe just like on the out points. But apparently Binance and Huobi account for 50% of all the illicit criminal BTC. So, and then it was saying in here, there's like 100 OTC brokers that they believe offer essentially money laundering services, calling the Rogue 100. So 70 of the OTC brokers are in the group of Huobi accounts receiving Bitcoin from illicit sources. And so, wow, who would have ever thought Bitcoin exchanges are involved in criminal activities? So yeah, we'll get to the kind of the title of today's show. Oh gosh, what is it? It's really long today. BCH community is growing up. Save the drama for your mama. And so this kind of back in the day, Roger claimed that he gave Bitcoin ABC, the main development group behind Bitcoin Cash, $500,000 for development. And Omri Sachet, the head developer of ABC, was like, no, I didn't. And so this is like kind of a weird point of contention for a couple weeks. because it's like, bro, you didn't give me $500,000. Like, what are you talking about? Like, come on. And Roger just like didn't respond. And so Omri made a article. He wrote an article about it. So like, Omri and Roger haven't really like been on the same page a lot of times. I am wearing an orange Bitcoin Cash shirt. I'm a green Bitcoin Cash guy, but you know, if it's orange, it's orange. I would prefer a green one. But Bitcoin.com did start creating green Bitcoin Cash shirts, so I have to buy one of those very soon here. Omri says Shay in his accent. You're French too. Oh, nice. But yeah, so Omri goes, there's a misunderstanding between Roger and myself, which takes the form of a specific issue, but part of an ongoing communication problem. And so one of the main roadblocks on the surface make it look like it's related to personality clashes. And if you ever like see Omri online, he's very brash and very to the point. Probably call you stupid or an idiot. It happens. He deals with a lot of shit. I mean, he's a Bitcoin developer. Everybody knows all the drama going around in Bitcoin, right? And so he can come off as a dick online, essentially. And it's just kind of a part of being in this community. Everybody gets kind of jaded. But I have met Omri in real life, and he's a very nice guy. He's very like soft-spoken in real life, actually. Definitely a heavy accent. BCH talk too soon, maybe. And so the feedback he's gotten is he's attacking Roger in Bitcoin.com on social media, and he's saying that's not his intention. This isn't what he like is trying to do. And so then we get to the missing 500,000, right? And so here's the Reddit comment saying, I've paid about $500,000 to ABC over the last few years. This is a month ago. And this is where Omri was like, hey, I'm not like, what are you talking about, man? I never got that money. And this never was addressed at the time. And so what Bitcoin does do, they actually donate a small amount of every block they mine to ABC, which amounts to $4,000 to $5,000. And I think they also had their lawyer cover Jason, Shama, and Omri when BSVers try to sue. But again, that like he says, it doesn't really like go towards development or any of the coders or paying for future features on with Bitcoin ABC. It's just to cover legal costs, right? And so this 500,000 just like came from nowhere, right? And so and this is what it's coming from. And so Roger also made a comment that ABC was dragging its feet in isolation. Neither this comment nor the 500K is accurate put together. They paint an especially bad and unjust narrative. And basically he's saying Bitcoin ABC has been given plenty of money and they're not doing the work. And so, I mean, you have the two biggest personalities, right? You have Roger Ver, CEO and first Bitcoin.com and first Bitcoin investor, right? And then you have Omri, who is the main developer of Bitcoin ABC. And you kind of see the clashes online. It's not like a really big spark of investor confidence, and it could be a reason why Bitcoin Cash is fairly comparatively low in the price, because people see that internal conflict and they say, hey, we don't want this, right? And so there's been like a lot of articles coming out like saying like, hey guys, like be nice to each other, be nice. And then you have Roger saying these just like untrue things and not really clearing it up. And Omri is just like flailing like it makes him look like the bad guy, I suppose. And so, yeah, so Omri wrote this. And so there's a larger issue. It's basically a communication problem. And part of this is he claims that Roger amplifies people who push a message of ABC is bad. They are core 2.0. And again, like he says, I don't want to name names, but it's true. There's certain people who like, oh, we don't want, like ABC is literally Blockstream. They're controlling the developments and how we don't want it and yada, 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 right? But it's somebody has to do the work. Somebody has to do the code. You can't have miners code. That's miners mine, coders code. And so somebody has to do the work. And if you don't, essentially the Blockstream model, if they weren't focused on side chains, if they were focused on improving Bitcoin by, for example, raising the block size and making it cheap for everybody to use, that model could work, right? They're paying developers to do this thing with VC money, and they're making the network valuable. But when the direction, the philosophy of what Blockstream has, when it's off kilter, when it's not right, then that's where you run into problems, right? And so, sure, you could call Bitcoin core development centralized. There's one guy that holds the keys, right? But really, it's just the direction they're taking more than anything else. It's because you have Bitcoin ABC. There's who has the majority of the mining nodes, right? I mean, I know there's a lot of Bitcoin Unlimited nodes that are kind of used as redundancy, but those aren't really used as mining nodes. And so, yeah, you kind of have to let the coders code is basically what I'm saying, right? You can't be like, hey, you guys aren't doing this correct. Like, don't be Blockstream. Like, that don't help anybody. So, yes, maybe we need to decentralize the development a little bit more, but I don't know. I think first we should create an awesome product. And a lot of times in open source, there's what's called the benevolent dictator, right? And this is kind of off-puts a lot of people, right? It's like, well, Bitcoin's decentralized, right? And yes, it is. It's decentralized to the miners. It's decentralized in a way that you can't get your transactions censored. But the development kind of has to be, I mean, there's one repo for Bitcoin Cash, and somebody has to write the code. One central person has to write code. I mean, yes, a lot of people can help write the code, but people have to all agree. It's not like the masses can be like, oh, we want object data sig verify because we want yada yada yada, and let's vote on it. Like, no, that's not how open source works. And it's kind of like, this is what I've came to realize over my Bitcoin journey, I guess, is that yes, Bitcoin is decentralized, but the development kind of isn't. And this is true for basically any crypto project. And I don't know if there's like a way to make it not decentralized. Maybe in the future, maybe when the protocol is ossified, when it's perfectly scaled, and there's no development, then we could call it decentralized. But yeah, Blur merchants are coming. Which without scaling for mass adoption, BTC is a pyramid. Yes, without utility, I mean, what do you have? You have buying into a number and hoping it goes up to sell to somebody when it's up later. So the Ponzi is your governments and your Fed, idiot. Oh, the Blur's a guy. So yeah, and so I think let's go to the desk here because it's a little more pleasant. So yeah, I think the Bitcoin Cash community is definitely like maturing. Like I said, we're growing up. We're kind of becoming our own thing finally. I think we're starting to get past the whole BTC core is bad, is the devil, and I mean they are real, right? I mean CIA guys. Here's my opinion on that, by the way. Roger just made a video on this, how the CIA is like directly involved in Bitcoin, and I think what the CIA did was do a masterful psyop by convincing very smart people that the thing of utmost importance in Bitcoin is to be able to run your own node and verify your own transaction. And no, the most important thing for Bitcoin is to have super cheap fees so everybody in the world can use it. And no, we shouldn't have massive block sizes that only 3 people in the world can run a node, but having everybody trying to cater the node size so everybody in the world can run a node is just insane. And so I think the small block psyop was kind of cultivated by the CIA in the very beginning, and then the smart people kind of did their nerd thing and really like amplified it, and now we have this whole narrative spreading. And I don't think like the CIA or whatever is directly involved in Bitcoin development now. I mean, they could be, maybe BSV, but you know. But yeah, BCH is Bitcoin. Bitcoin Cash is a version of Bitcoin. I always say this: if Bitcoin Cash price flips Bitcoin BTC, Bitcoin Core's price, and then the hash bar will flip, and then Bitcoin Core literally has no claim to the Bitcoin name, right? And people go, "Oh, you're stealing the Bitcoin name." It's like, no. The first Bitcoin Cash block was in 2009, and the UTXOs date back till then. People just had different versions of what Bitcoin should be. And now we have Bitcoin Cash, and I hope we can all continue to build on Bitcoin Cash and make it peer-to-peer money for the world. And I think this is happening. We just need to cultivate a culture of togetherness, I guess. Oh, that's kind of gay. Cultivate a strong and happy community, a community that's happy to use Bitcoin, a community that welcomes everybody. And I think that's happening. I think we're all kind of getting over the saltiness of the scaling debate, and I think we're just building. And I think over time that utility will show itself, and if the crypto market explodes again, you will see the Bitcoin blocks fill, and you'll see all the Bitcoin dominance go down and all the alts rise with it. I think all nodes should mine. Not how sure you get consensus of nodes that don't mine. Yeah, the UASF. That's quite a thing. I've been thinking about making a series on the scaling debate and kind of like having it be like the reference, right? Like I know there's great documents that outline it all, but I mean, so long. People want to watch videos, and so I think that's kind of my next bigger project. And the full documentary's coming eventually, but these shorter videos on the scaling debate I think are just essential for kind of like a history to FUD bust, to if having a better word. But yeah, continue to build, support those who are building. Ask wherever you go shopping regularly if they take Bitcoin Cash yet. Just ask them every day, and hopefully eventually they get enough customers asking for Bitcoin Cash that they start accepting it. So BCH is awesome. True peer-to-peer money for the world. So yeah, I think that'll be it for today. A nice short show. Not quite like the Gym Friend one where I went for an hour and a half. That was great. What a legend. Absolute unit. Hey, he's gotten the most airtime on my show. He's on 3 different thumbnails now. Talking about him 3 different times, and what a legend. Just stay manly. Stay building. Don't let the haters get in your way. Don't let the B-cashers get in your way. Just use what works, and if you use BTC and you use BCH, you know one is just better than the other. That's just end of story. So zero conf is needed in BTC or cannot scale. You know, zero conf is hard when you have a replacement fee. Knowing attack is probably less and less possible. So anyways, thanks for joining me on my show. I'm going to wrap it up here. So peace. See you next week.